Hey YouTube, so I'm here this morning thinking about all of the fancy bonsai that we have out in the world and how it can be really intimidating to go to a nursery when you see in the prices of these bonsai in the hundreds of dollars or even sometimes thousands, and you're trying to figure out as a new bonsai practitioner, how do I even get into this? How do I afford to do what I want to do in bonsai, which is create, see some things in nature and make an image. So what I'm going to do today, I thought I'd take you this morning to the local big box store, and then also maybe to a local nursery to step up the game, and then also show you some things in the landscape that you can use just to give you some options of things that you can afford, because bonsai really is accessible to everyone. So let's go. One of the plants many people get excited about is these little Atlas cedars. The blue Atlas cedars have a weeping habit. They'll often have some twists and turns by being staked up. Beautiful color, but I caution against using these as a beginner because they tend to be very unforgiving of beginner mistakes, such as potting at the wrong time of year or trimming more than you should be trimming. So where this one looks like it could be an excellent little bonsai, I would actually steer clear of it and move on to some other things. Now these little arbor vitae, these little guys can make some really cool looking bonsai, and at the price that they're listed at here, it's not much of an investment. I would recommend, if you do go with this from the nursery, you get 2 or 3 of them. Honestly, you can make a forest or something really cool with that. I'll show you a little bit later how I have made some of my larger size bonsai from this variety actually out of the yard. Now, here's an example of what I was talking about with the blue Atlas cedar. I'll show you why I don't recommend them. Because although they do appear to have very green foliage at the tips that turn to a nice blue color as they grow, with these really great little buds on these new trees, notice this right next to it is another of the same variety. And what do we see? Brown and dead, because this hasn't even survived the shipping process from the nursery that it came from. So although we do see some really cool things going on here in the trunk, this actually has multiple trunks coming out of it. This could be a cool variety to someone with some experience in bonsai, and you can make a really nice looking image with some of these lower branches. I still wouldn't recommend this to a new practitioner to the art of bonsai, because there's just so many things that can go wrong with this tree. Let's move on. So here's my haul. I wound up with 3 plants from two big box stores. From the orange store, I'll call it, I got this one. This is a Flippy NT, which I consider to be an inside plant in my environment. I'm in the Pacific Northwest of the USA, and this plant doesn't really do too well outside during the rest of the year. I have had these before, and they've all been this familiar mass manufactured S shape. So I'm gonna see if I could do something a little bit different than that. The pot is nothing really special. In fact, it's just a container for this little plastic pot that comes in it. So relatively inexpensive, that one. It's about 20 bucks. I got this little one. This is a juniper. You'll find these all over inside the big box stores, like the orange store, or where this one came from was the blue store. I got this one because it has some things I can work with. It has a very long branch here off the side that I can wire for some interest. And inside of the trunk, it has a lot of twists and turns. Oh gosh, it's hard to even see in here, isn't it? Because it's so covered in foliage. So this one will take quite a bit to open up and be able to see what I'm working with. But I saw a lot of twists and turns in there. The one that I'm really excited about that I went a little bit more money on was this guy, which I don't see in the nurseries hardly at all. This is actually called a mountain juniper. So this one was a little bit more. It's $43. They had a lot of these at the big blue box store. And these tend to have more of a spreading growth habit. This is most likely going to be a very low shaped bonsai. I'm not going to attempt to make it grow upwards with these branches that want to continue to grow down. But this one I'm really excited about because inside here there's actually a lot to work with. I have to go and rip off some of these things and see where the trunk actually is. But once I do that, I'll be able to make some quick decisions and find the path that it's going to be taking. This one does have a main trunk line down in here, and then from there it starts branching really quickly, so I can compact the foliage really close to that main trunk line, and then it has some of these long branches that I can really work with also, especially elongating into possibly a cascade form or something to that effect. So I got out for about $80 worth of plants, and I got 3 of them. So I'm going to show you what I can do with this little guy here. For one thing, I'm out of wire. I only have a small little bit of one size of wire that's useful, so I might be able to take some wire to that one. But what I would normally do with something like this is actually try to get rid of that S-bend sort of shape. So let's go do that. So this is what I did with that little Flippy NT. It's not that pretty just yet, but you know what? It didn't start out that pretty. What I did is I put a little bit more bend in it, and I took out the S-bend. Also, you'll notice I did use the original pot, but the original pot is broken because I didn't like it, and I have a hammer, and I was at the home improvement store and I thought, hey, hammer and pot. Great. There you go. So as that fills out, that'll get a nice little green sort of crown thingy there. You know what, the pot was just for fun, so it'll be what it's going to be. It may grow a little bit more tropical with some trimming and everything, but as you can see from some of these other things, I'm digging the broken pots right now. So that's what I use for this. Could be cool. Done. Well, that's what you could do with some of the material that you could find in the local nurseries and big box stores. Also keep an eye out for things in the landscape that you can work with, such as these 2 vine maples that came out of my yard sometime last year or the year before that. You can find some things on the roadside that are really great to work with as well. Many of these things can be free. Make sure you get permission. And then when you're ready to step up your game,
increase your budget, because you're going to find some things that are going to be outside of that $20, $30, $40 range really quickly once you get into the fancier nurseries. And then when you're ready to take your bonsai game to the fancy stage, head on over to a local club or something like that, and they'll hook you up with some resources that you can go out and find some great material. Have fun with your bonsai journey. If you liked the video, please subscribe to it, share it with your friends. Thank you.